Alright guys, so let's see how to replace the valve cover gasket from this Hyundai i10. The valve cover is this piece on top of the engine head. It's held on by 10mm bolts around. So if you spot any oil leak between the valve cover and the engine head, then the gasket might be bad, cracked or worn up. So in order to prevent further oil leaks, you have to replace it. First, let's remove the air filter housing. Now if you look around the valve cover, we've got a couple of components. First, the spark plug wires on top here, we gotta take them out. Then we've got this wiring harness which is fastened on top here. We've got the camshaft position sensor. We've got the positive crankcase ventilation hose and acceleration pedal wire which is also connected here. A second ventilation hose and this bracket which supports the air filter housing. And that's pretty much it. So let's remove these with a plier. Let's release this hose clamp. Now let's take it out. With the 8mm socket, let's remove these 3 bolts from here. We can set this apart like that. We can actually disconnect this guy from here. This is a camshaft position sensor. Now we've got access here. Let's see on the other side. And finally, we can take out the spark plug wires. Here they come. The different length will make it impossible to install them wrongly back, so like that. And finally, with a 10mm socket, remove all these 16 bolts which will hold the camshaft cover on. If the valve cover is stuck, you gotta find a point where you can pry it out without scratching the surface of the gasket. So for example here, hope you can see that right here, there is a good point where I can pry it out. Here we go. And then do not try to pry out from here, for example, where the gasket sit. Just look for those points. And for example, where the bolts sit here. And now the cover is out. All right. And you can actually see that the gasket remained on the engine head. And on the spark plug gasket, we've got some debris in here, which we need to remove. Now let's take out the old gasket from here. It's a good idea for the paper to have some oil or some sort of fluid to catch the debris. Now everything is clean and ready, so I'm going to put the gasket on the cover. Now let's flip this over. Just like that. So it's very important that the surface will be clean. Now we're going to be able to torque the bolts. So I'm going to first insert them manually. Alright, so now I'm going to tighten it by hand just a little bit with the ratchet. And it's important to have, guys, different sizes of extensions because now you want to do the crisscross pattern, so you have to switch between sizes. Otherwise you cannot fit your socket in here, your ratchet. Okay, so now let's torque them down to 15 foot-pounds, again in a crisscross pattern. Okay guys, so that was pretty much it. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Also check out the other videos I made about this Hyundai. I'm gonna put a link in the description below with the playlist. So stay tuned and I will see you soon.